Hello there, and today I'm starting a science mode playthrough. In fact, my first science mode playthrough in Kerbal Space Program, where today I don't really do too much. I just get started and try to make an orbital craft, but in this video I don't quite accomplish that. So I guess this video is about the Alpha series of rockets, which was the first ones, with the current one officially being titled Alpha 1, but I never actually added that, so I guess it's not Alpha 1, unfortunately. It's just untitled spacecraft for now. So it's not really all too exciting. There's a few mystery goo units on it, and that's about it really. And it actually takes me 3 times to launch this thing because I keep forgetting to check my staging. Other than that, it's a pretty average first rocket in a playthrough. I'll just check the goo right quick. I launch, but yeah, I forget to check my staging, so there's the parachute. And yeah, I don't actually use all the mystery goo units, I forget that. Or actually, throughout the playthrough so far, I forget to do a lot of science stuff because this is my first playthrough. I've played a lot of sandbox, so I'm not really used to having to use the science parts. But still. And for some reason it happened again, even though I'm fairly certain I separated the 2 stages. But I guess I did not. But fortunately, the 3rd time I finally get it right, and I'm able to leave. I'll just check my mystery goo right quick, and then I'm off. I just kind of tilt that direction for some reason. I actually just watched one of Matt Lowndes videos, and that's what he did. So yeah, I didn't really need his videos anymore. I only watched it to see how. I only watched it because I was bored. I don't know why I felt the need to say that. Ah well. Yeah, I'm just doing some of the stuff he does. He's the guy who taught me how to play this game. Might as well pay him respects. Which I don't actually know how. It doesn't really matter, but still. It's this guy who taught me how to play the game. Now I'm gonna play the game and put it out for the like 10 people who actually watch this channel to see. But yeah, now I'm getting towards the end of this first mission, coming into land in the oceans. And yeah, I was gonna do another run of the mystery goo in the ocean, from what I remember, but I didn't. Either that or I forgot to do it in the atmosphere. Can't remember which one. And there we go, my parachutes are now fully extended. And I'm just about home. Which is nice. I'll just speed up time there. I usually slow it down right before I touch down because in the past I've had some pretty bad incidents when I forgot to slow down time. So I'm gonna do that right quick. So that I'm come home, and yeah, I forget to do the mystery goo thing in the ocean. It's not really the end of the world though, because I still get enough science to get started off with more parts in that. And for some reason I leave the game paused for quite a minute here. I actually did that a few times throughout the video, but still. I guess I guess that time is because I got a notification about something. I don't know why I didn't just cut that part out. But yeah, now thinking about what I will get next, because I don't really have enough stuff for enough science points to upgrade again. But yeah, now about to upgrade my craft and change its name to Alpha 2. And I also sped up time to 2 times speed. So I forget a lot of things on Alpha 2, so yeah, it sucks, but it's not really the end of the world. And so if you're wondering, Alpha 2's goal is to be a suborbital rocket. It's not quite supposed to reach outer space. It's supposed to reach outer space, but just barely. I guess the first orbital rocket actually begins the beta series, which I was going to try to start this episode, but I changed beta 1's name to, or the first attempt at beta 1's name to Alpha 3 when I started it. Yeah, so I stick 2 mystery goo units and 2 thermometers on there. Here's about what I do for the first few missions. The mission I'm going to do after going through this video is going to be, or it's going to involve quite a few more mystery. It's going to involve quite a few more of those things. Because I'm planning I guess my next mission I'm going to run is beyond the Kerbin system, just to say the least. But this one is not. This one's just a simple get into space mission. Or get to space and do some science and return home kind of thing. Albeit it takes me a few times to get this one too, which is kind of annoying. But still. Or I can't remember how many times I had to try this before it worked out. Okay, go ahead and decouple that. I check the temperature. And then I try to get into outer space. And in not too much time, I'm here. For the first time this playthrough, but most certainly not the last. I'm in outer space. Ready to, I guess, do more science and stuff. Well, I guess I probably already got that done, considering I ain't doing any right now. And so now, I'm in the atmosphere again. The re-entry is not much of a problem here, though, because I'm moving at a pretty slow speed, so the ship stays fully intact. But yeah, now, I begin my trip back in. Actually, I began my trip back in 15 kilometers ago, but still. And then I revert back, because apparently I forgot something. I don't know what, but I did. I knew that one of my missions went wrong somewhere, so I just circle around. And I guess for some reason, I go back. Oh well, that's just what my early missions are about, is forgetting something and having to turn back. It's really annoying, and I would have probably gotten to the Mun and Min miss in this video if I hadn't had to deal with that. But that's just not the case today. I end up having to go pretty far out. But, actually on this video, I don't know what I was saying, but I don't really go too far in this video, just to space a few times. I don't even make it to orbit in this video. I do in the next, so. But yeah, I'm now here. Or now just about here. In deep space. Or not deep space, just outer space. Deep space is still quite a distance from here. But I will make my way up there sometime. I'll go ahead and do my mystery goo thing. And I'll log the temperature as well, because I needed to do that. And then I finish the rest of my trip up, before making my way back down to the surface. Hopefully alive. And since I already know what happens in this video, I can say with near certainty that I will make it home alive. Unless something happened that I didn't pay attention for, but I generally pay attention when I'm playing video games, so I'm not quite sure that that's the case. But yeah, now I'm still pretty far up in the atmosphere, but now the stars are gone, because I'm getting closer. So, yeah, just about to the ground. You know, if it hadn't been for a certain incident, then I wouldn't be... If it hadn't been for a recent incident, I wouldn't have been here today. If you're wondering... The only reason I started this... If you're wondering about why I'm talking to myself... Well, I guess... I don't know why I'm talking to myself, but you're probably wondering what the... Well, you're probably not. You probably don't really care. How is it that I go off on such a weird limb? Or something. But yeah, I guess what I was saying is that yeah, originally there was going to be a Laythe series in the place of this, where I was going to go on a Laythe mission. And in fact, I did successfully land there, too. But unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be because that entire save got corrupted or something. I had to delete it, and now I'm here. And honestly, I think this is better than going to Laythe. But yeah, I get home with a pretty good scientific bounty. And I'm able to craft a lot of science parts. But I'm still lacking a little bit, unfortunately. Fortunately, I don't have to deal with money constraints or anything, so I can build an even bigger rocket, which will be Alpha 3. But first, the game is for some reason I'm not doing anything but staring at my rocket. But then I do, and I decide to completely redo things. At the time, I'm going to attempt to build Beta 1, but it doesn't happen. Because on the first test flight, things don't go according to plan. I'll just say that. Unfortunately. But I do eventually get pretty close to orbit here with the Alpha 3 rocket, but Alpha 3 is not quite orbit capable. Maybe a little bit more fuel than it probably would have been, but it wasn't. But that one wasn't meant to be, and neither was this rocket here, for that matter. But yeah, now I'm adding more stages. Actually, I was already doing that, because I'm adding my second stage on, or I guess my side boosters, and they're what caused the problems in these launches. They're really problematic, and causes me a ton of trouble, unfortunately. And so I don't know where I got the crazy idea that this thing could make it, or where I got the idea that this thing could make it to orbit. I might have actually achieved orbit if I'd replaced those into smaller, I don't know what the smaller ones are called at the moment, with the larger hammer ones. But yeah, I didn't do that. Albeit there were already plenty of problems with this thing, and so guess it really wasn't. So yeah, I guess there was only limited success in this flight. We really had quite a distance to travel in order to actually get a lot more science. But fortunately, I do have the barometers and stuff, so I can get a little bit of science. Hopefully, just enough to get that final node of the third tier of parts. But yeah, now my rocket's giving me trouble, so I decided to log the pressure data and the temperature. Then I try to move that back around to where it should be. But unfortunately, I still start going the wrong direction initially. Eventually I have to do that. And I continue going pretty much straight up, which sucks. Because generally I don't like going straight up with my rockets. It's not quite how you get to space, I don't think. Or I guess it can get you to space, but it's not a very efficient way to get up there. Generally, you have to do I much prefer to do an actually decent gravity turn instead of whatever I just did there. But this rocket is very hard to control, so I can't exactly do that, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm here, back to outer space. Except barely with any fuel, and I'm fairly certain I forgot a few important parts. So I decided to just trash that and go about redoing Alpha 3. Except for some reason I'm still putting the decoupler there. I don't know why I keep doing that. Because this mission's not going to be successful if I stick a decoupler there. But yeah, guess if I move the position of the decoupler, I might have a little bit more success. I guess that's not the only thing. Guess there's a lot of stuff I'll have to do in order for this to be a successful rocket. This Beta 3 just had a ton of problems, unfortunately. Including that, where I actually have the boosters, or the side boosters misaligned. It's actually because of their placement on the decouplers, not because of the decouplers placement on the rocket. And so at the very least I don't forget to, or at the very least I don't forget to add the thing that allows me to deorbit this thing. Or not deorbit the thing, get home safely by deorbiting this thing. And then somewhere I try to stick that on, but I decide to move it. Or I guess I think about what to use, and eventually I move it inside the payload bay. But even then, this one doesn't. But even then, I don't think this is exactly the model that makes it to space, anyways. But still. Yeah, I guess. Continue to build this thing. It actually took me quite a while to build this thing, but eventually I did have it done. So, yeah, I guess this is the second model. Yeah, this is the second model I end up launching for some reason. But unfortunately, this one it's not the best in the world. And I'm pretty sure that this one, or maybe a different one, I can't remember at the moment. I'm pretty sure one of these rockets ends up spinning out of control. I think it's this one. This one's really hard to control. One of the things I don't really like about the early game is that the rockets are so much harder to control. It's even worse it's somehow worse than a 300-part super rocket that's supposed to get a large payload to the edge of the solar system, or I guess the Kerbal system. And I would know because I've flown something like that before. The lag is awful. But yeah, this is not my best launch at all. It was a pretty bad launch, actually. And I'm also unable to recover any of the science data, too, which sucks a lot. And I guess eventually I do come to that realization, sometime in space. It always annoys me, because it means I have to go back and launch for a third time. And even though it doesn't take long, you get tired of launching these things all the time. But, yeah, I guess after these early launches, things probably get a little more interesting. So I see just also look at how far I can raise my periapsis. But I'm unable to form an orbit in this thing, as I had predicted. So I go about burning as much as possible. And I've somehow still not come to the realization yet that this thing can't recover any science data. I guess when I zoom in, I eventually come to that realization, I would assume. I somehow don't, though. Not until later on. Or maybe I do. Yep, that's when I come to the realization. Took me long enough. But there we go. This is the version that I'm fairly certain that do just a few more changes, this will end up being the version that flies. Which include fixing the side boosters and moving around some of the parts at the top. Yeah, it takes me a minute a minute too long to figure out what's going on here, apparently. And for some reason, I try to launch again. This is where another one of my problems come, and that's when I zoom in, it turns my rocket around. Fortunately, it doesn't prove to be too much of a problem, I don't think, because these launchers never end up getting too far in the first place. But it's still pretty annoying, nonetheless. So try again, but still no success. And for some reason, I'm still doing experiments with the launch pad, even though I've kind of exhausted that place's scientific potential at this point. So I actually did decently far on this launch. Don't quite remember if I make it all the way or not, but I definitely get decently far along. Go ahead and pull out my second stage and raise my orbit with it. Or raise my, I wouldn't call it an orbit, I'd raise my trajectory to pass the 70-kilometer mark with this. And then once I make it to space, I try to raise my orbit as much as possible. But, as I've mentioned a bunch of times now, I end up being unable to enter orbit. And I don't know if you can hear that or not. I don't know what it is. But yeah, now I'm up in space, and I think I accidentally waited a little too late to begin the burn. But it doesn't end up mattering in the end. So yeah, this thing, it goes through quite a lot of fuel. So now, I'm up here in space, able to decouple, and I run all my experiments. Like the mystery goo one. Or the thermometer experiment thing. So I log all, so we get all of that data done and dealt with, as well as that ship's stuff done and dealt with. It really doesn't turn out to be all too hard at all to do. And so with this, I'm able to begin my trip. Here with this, I re-enter Kerbin's atmosphere. Oh yeah, once I make it to the ground, I still run a few more experiments there. For now, my re-entry may begin, I guess. And a bunch of ships also, a bunch of old parts also blow up, and I try to run some experiments up here, but I've already done this, so it doesn't really matter. Now I begin my trip home. There goes that thing, or there's that ship. Yeah, just about done with this now. With that, I don't know what else to say. Once again, it's always a problem, no matter what game I'm playing. I just have no clue what I should talk about. But, yeah, just about back to the ground now. Or actually, no, I'm not. I still have 45 kilometers to go. Then I'll be just back about to the ground. So I also do a crew report there. But I don't really start to do those frequently until later on, when I realize that they can actually be pretty useful experiments to run. Or I guess I wouldn't call it an experiment, just stuff. And so, now 35 and re-entry is continuing. And this is where you definitely want a heat shield, is re-entry like this. Because at the very least, I wouldn't have any science data to recover if I didn't have that heat shield on here. And at the most, I wouldn't have anything to recover. But, yeah, now, just about, now I'm getting closer to the ground. Shouldn't be much longer. In fact, there's not even 2 minutes left in this video. So I'll slow down. And from here, I'd oftentimes end up speeding up time. Yep. So for you, this is at 8 times speed, but for me, it's 4 times. So now, going to extend. So about here, extend my parachute, and I just kind of like to do that too. I don't know why. So now, there's my parachute fully unraveling. And I'm about to splash down after a very successful orbital mission. Or a suborbital mission, not orbital. And after this, the next mission's goal was to go to orbit. First I run some more experiments from what I remember. You get just that slight bit more data. Which I guess that was not a mistake either, because I needed it. And I do a mystery goo examination thing. For some reason I leave the game paused. I log the pressure data, and I'm pretty sure I do also do an atmosphere temperature scan. Or not. Anyways, with that, that is the first episode of this playthrough over, so goodbye, I guess.